forgotten village. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, let's take a look at our stats. First off, welcome to all of the new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really means a lot. Now let's take a look at our stats. This is very exciting. We've reached over 2 million views. Oh my goodness. And let's check out where most of you guys are tuning in from. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and yes, even Australia. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Hello from London, England. Today's story was sent in by none other than Ryan Murgatroyd. So let's take a look at what they said. I was searching for a scary ghost story and came across your channel. I thought I would try submitting my own story for consideration. I hope you like it, and if you do, feel free to use it on your channel. Ryan, thank you so much for submitting this story. I love it. You have an amazing talent for writing. Like seriously, this was such a great story. I felt every moment of it, and I also loved the ending. It was completely unexpected. Well done. If you want to submit a story, there is a link in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow the social media accounts. Those are linked down there too. Okay, let's move on to our next story. My Lost Sister. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and my little sister was about 3 or 4. We lived in the city, and our home was a small 2-story apartment building with 2 floors and a basement. My parents owned the entire building. We had the apartment on the 2nd floor, and the ground floor was rented out to another family. One day, my dad decided that he wanted to renovate the top floor and make an apartment out of it. At this time, my mom was pregnant with my youngest sister, so my dad hired some contractors to do the work. I used to sneak up to the 3rd floor to watch them work, because it was fascinating to me. I would sit on the concrete floor and watch these men lay the foundations for the walls and the rooms. They even built a balcony out there for me to play on. It was pretty cool. Every afternoon when I got home from school, I would run up to the 3rd floor to see how the construction was coming along. My mom told me many times to stop going up there because it wasn't safe. But it was my favorite thing to do after school. And one day, while I was walking up the stairs to the 3rd floor, I saw my little sister sitting on the landing. She was holding onto the handrail and was looking down the edge of the stairs. When she saw me, she waved and said hi. I asked her how she got up there, and she said she took the elevator. The elevator. At this point in time, the elevator hadn't been used in years. It was probably decades since anyone had ridden that elevator. I told her to come with me so we could go down and tell Mom that she was up there. But she said no and ran to the other side of the landing. As I watched, I saw her step onto the first step of the stairs, and then she fell forward and disappeared down the shaft. I ran to the bottom of the stairs and yelled for her. I don't remember what I said, but it was something like, "Help, somebody." My sister fell down the stairs. When I turned to go back up and find her, the contractor was standing there with a wild look on his face. He told me to come with him and led me to the elevator. He pressed the button for the 2nd floor and we got in. We stood there in silence until the doors opened, and we walked out onto the floor. There was a small hole in the wall where my sister had fallen through. The contractor told me that he would fix it so this never happened again. But at this point, I knew that my sister was dead. She had fallen 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and there was no way she could have survived that. But I didn't say anything. I was only 8 years old, and I was scared. My dad and Mom showed up and I told them what happened. I don't remember what they said, but it was a lot of yelling and screaming. I hid in my room for a couple of days until everything settled down. Sometime later, I heard my parents talking in hushed voices, and they said my sister was going to be born dead because of the fall. I listened at the door, and heard the word miscarriage. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I knew it had to do with my baby sister dying. I remember sitting in my bed crying because I missed my sister. I didn't know her that well because she was so little, but I felt like I could have been a good big brother. That night I dreamed that my father came into my room and told me that my sister was fine and that she was looking forward to meeting me. The next day I told my mom about my dream, but she just patted me on the head and said it was just a dream. I don't remember much after that. It was probably a month after my sister fell that my mom gave birth to my youngest sister. When my dad held her up for me to see, I remember thinking that she looked just like my older sister, right down to the little dimple on her left cheek. My dad named her after my older sister who died. That's why I call her my lost sister. To this day, nobody knows how my little sister managed to take the elevator. No one ever found any damage in the elevator, and it was never used again. Maybe someday I'll find out what happened to her. If I do, I'll tell you.